Welcome back, loners. Welcome back. We're here today.
We gathered here today.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Okay, listen up. Brian fucked up.
Okay, yeah, I made a mistake. I had like technical difficulties while uploading the one yesterday.
So basically, we threw the idea that we would do 30 days, and we did, but the video yesterday didn't upload, so I think he's just gonna upload 2 today.
Yeah, probably.
To catch up.
So, this is episode 182. All right, so we're really sore today. Yesterday we went rock climbing for her brother's birthday, and
we were bouldering. We weren't actually.
Yeah.
And it fucking tore us apart.
I didn't realize how sore I would be, to be honest. Like I didn't think it through. And
you need to start working out.
It's not even that. These are like really specific weird muscles that you use for this.
That I think would feel less painful if I worked out. But I had fun.
Yeah,
we were also just
fun.
extremely exhausted because my father got married on
Saturday.
I don't even know. The day before. Why? And we just had a very eventful family day that day. We were exhausted getting up the next morning.
Yeah.
And then went straight to
Boulder Dash.
Why did you do that?
This is the name of the place.
I know.
But
extra.
It was fun. I'm just really exhausted. So is she.
But yeah, it was fun.
Yes.
And then I did an ice plunge after.
I couldn't.
Plunge.
I don't understand how,
It was
but
so nice.
without trying to sound
Like a pussy.
like a massage therapist. I'm kidding, misogynistic. I think that women's bodies are made to take more pain than men.
You know what's funny? When a
being
woman can do
serious.
something better than you, it's like, oh, well, you're built for that. But if a guy does, he's just better.
I'm not saying it like that. I'm just
anyway,
saying.
Brian lasted less than 30 seconds, and I lasted over 10 minutes.
I could
have lasted longer. And
I
that's
know.
why he was being like, wow, that's wild. How did you do that?
Because it was tough. It was tough. Like,
it felt nice.
It was like I felt like needles going into my body, and it just was like I can't take it. And I told her brother, I was like, just hold me in. And I'm like, no, like let me out. I couldn't do it. And then I got in the hot tub and just chilled there.
It was like satisfying pain.
It was nice. It was really nice.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Enough of that.
Also, jump over to our vlog channel right now, guys. We see that you guys aren't going and subscribing. So what are you really doing? All right.
Okay, so today's video is by Drew Binsky.
My 5 least favorite countries after visiting them all. So let's see.
Cuba.
Let's see our boy Drew which countries he didn't
familiar.
like. Yeah, I think we've seen a video of his. All right, let's see.
Travel is very subjective based on your own personal travel experiences, and there are many variables that can make or break a trip, such as the weather, your health, your mood, who you meet, what you eat, and the things you do. All things considered, here are my least favorite countries in the world, and we start in the Horn of Africa with Djibouti. Djibouti was one of the first stops on a 3-month Africa trip that I did back in 2018, and I can't say I loved it. So first of all, the visa was it's a visa on arrival, but when you get there, they give you a hard time, and if your money isn't like perfectly square with if there's any marks on it, they won't let you in. So I had a big problem at the airport getting in. Once I was in, walking around Djibouti, there's not a whole lot going on, and there's a lot of military bases. There's like an Italian military base, a US base, a French base, I think there's a German base, and so there's a lot of security. Like everywhere you go on the street, you feel like there's eyes looking at you from every direction. So especially me, walking with my camera, I was very intimidated, like what's going on? What are these people looking at? So obviously the locals were friendly, just like in the neighboring countries of Somalia and Eritrea. I really didn't feel comfortable. Like I walked down certain streets, and it felt very unsafe. It was really dodgy. Once again, it's like At the time, I wasn't really with a local friend. Actually, I met a guy at my hotel and he ended up driving me around, but he wasn't like a person that I connected with that much.
Your booty or Djibouti. Where you come from? From your booty.
And truth be told, it was really, really expensive, like obnoxiously expensive. I found the cheapest hotel that I could book in the whole city, and it was $105 a night.
Damn.
I can't even think of another city really that is that expensive, and it's probably because they don't get many tourists and they can just jack up the price. Culturally, it's an interesting mix of like French-speaking people and Arabic-speaking people and Somali-speaking people, and they just like really mix together.
I wouldn't have thought it would be so expensive to get into Djibouti.
So it's kind of a little bit hard to grasp. There's a lot of like French influence with the street names and the baguettes and the different things to eat, but the people are closely related to Somalis. It was just a hard place for me to grasp, a difficult culture to figure out. Would I give it a second chance? Absolutely, but I just can't say that it was one of my favorite countries.
Interesting. Chad.
Oh boy, Chad. Man, I don't know where to start. So it's a Central African country. I will link to my other video on YouTube that I made where you guys can see like what the full story of what actually happened. But long story short, met up with a local friend and he was cool and all until we both got on separate motorcycle taxis and we got lost from each other. My phone wasn't working and the motorcycle.
Fuck that.
That
I would start
fun.
getting so anxious if we separated and I'm like, fuck, I don't know anyone.
Yeah, that would be nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Taxi that I jumped on happened to be a stolen bike.
Damn.
So I was caught in this big police chase and I was cutting through the dirt roads of the city and I got off the bike and there was a huge fight that broke out on the street and I was like, people were like grabbing my shirt like wanting to kill me. And then later on I was taking pictures and I took a picture of a little kid, which normally I get approval from the parents. I didn't see the parents around and then it turned into a huge problem and another brawl and people were trying to, literally a guy like threatened to take out a knife.
Well, okay. It makes sense to not take a photo of a kid because what if their parents like randomly see some like person taking a photo? I would think they're gonna get kidnapped or something.
Yeah, I would be.
Like they're like, oh, we need to remember that kid because we're gonna come back and take him or something.
It could be literally a number of things. I wouldn't feel comfortable anyone taking a photo of my kid without asking. That's weird.
Yeah, same. Yeah, so that's kind of like he shouldn't have done that in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this happened several years ago. I would definitely give Chad another chance. Actually, I heard in the north there's a really interesting festival called the Guinea Festival where the men like dress up as women and they put lipstick on and they try to impress women, which is really interesting. So I want to go see like the more Sahel region in the Saharan part of Chad. I'm talking about the capital of Guyana, which is where all this happened, and it was really rough. At the end of the day, you know, I was trying to be calm and I was out at a shisha place and I walked outside to take a phone call and I stepped in a huge pile of poop, like human poop, not cow poop, like human feces. And I actually ended up booking my flight out early because I had that bad of a time. And this is a series of events that happened to me that I don't know how I could have avoided it actually. And not to mention like everywhere you go in Chad, people kind of stare at you. They're not that welcoming people. And
Sir, look at you. Have you looked in the mirror? Like, be for real. Anyway.
It's as a traveler, it's a very, very, very difficult place to visit. Not much to do, and a place that is a little bit rough around the edges.
Guinea.
We move on to West Africa. So I was on a huge road trip with my buddy Alvaro. We started in Liberia and we went all the way to Senegal. We covered about 7 countries back in 2019. Great trip overall, but going through Guinea was tough. So Conakry, the capital, I mean, it is a rough place. We happened to visit during a coup. We were visiting like a mosque, which was actually really cool. And then all of a sudden, all these police came out with shields and were like, get out of the streets, like go to your hotels. And we were just like, what is going on? We thought we were like being attacked, and even shooting on my phone was nervous. Okay, so we are walking now on the streets of downtown Conakry, and it's a Thursday afternoon. Yeah. And it's just completely dead. And we see everywhere we look, we see policemen. That's why my camera's right here.
Just the locals. The locals will tell on you, so it's also.
Yeah, and it just feels like this is one of the most unsafe places, I think, right? That I've ever been in. I mean, we really got to be careful. They look for any reason to. Yeah, I know. The policeman right in front of me. So as you can see, it was pretty rough shooting, and we were actually stopped by a little checkpoint guy when we were driving in Guinea because, I don't know, he saw my camera and thought I was taking a picture of someone, and then he came up to us and he bribed us and we had to pay him 20 bucks, and our poor driver Marlon was the one dealing with all the bribes. And unfortunately, bribery in this part of the world is really common, so it's really unavoidable if you travel as a tourist or a white person. Other things to do in Conakry, well,
Damn.
there's really not that much. I mean, just walking around, just trying to stay safe. And once again, in some countries, it's just really hard to meet people and hard to connect and hard to shoot content. I mean, even on a phone, and Guinea was one of them. I don't really know if I'll give it a second chance. Like I gotta find a really good reason to go back, maybe a good story to tell or a better reason than just to go. So if you have any ideas, let me know in the comments below. Brunei is a country in Southeast Asia on the Borneo island, sandwiched in between Indonesia and Malaysia. Now, it's an interesting place. Like, I love Southeast Asia, so I love, generally the culture in that part of the world, but Brunei is an unwelcoming place for me. I went into the main mosque, which is a beautiful mosque. It's one of the most stunning looking mosques from the outside, but I was kicked out for no reason. I took my shoes off. I was respecting everyone. I was trying to just be normal and respect the culture as I always do. And some guy was like in there, like screamed at me to get out and was like really, really aggressive. And to this day, I just don't know what I did wrong. I just don't understand why they would be so rude to me when I wanted to visit their holy place. Nothing going on in the capital of Bandar Seri Begawan. There is a cool national park called Ulu Temburong, which I do recommend checking out, but I don't know, I was in the capital city on a weekend, and I mean, there's no alcohol in Brunei for Islamic reasons, which I respect, but there was no places to go hang out and nothing to do. And I can't say that people were unfriendly, I just didn't really meet that many people, but it's not like my experiences in Chad or Guinea where the people were like actually really rude. I thought the people were fine, but just like getting yelled at in the mosque and lack of things to do in Brunei is a reason that I probably won't be visiting anytime soon.
It's interesting. That's probably like how Indonesia is like, what is it, like 80% Muslim or something like that?
I think it's even more.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Guyana, probably the least visited country in all the Americas. It's in the northeastern part of South America. It's the only English-speaking country on the continent, which is pretty interesting. The capital of Georgetown is not a great place. I felt very unsafe. I was actually staying at a hostel in the city center, of Georgetown. And when 7 o'clock came, the guest house lady was like, do not go outside. Have your dinner and come back and we're gonna lock you inside. And that's probably the first time I've ever been told that I wasn't able to go outside. She was just suggesting me not to go outside, and that's because it is so unsafe and there are attacks and there's kidnappings or whatever. I don't know what's going on, but it's not that safe of a place. There's only one golf course in the country, so knowing me, of course, I went to the golf course. By the way, subscribe to Binsky Golf if you're not already. I just launched my new golf channel where I share my adventures of golf around the world. But I went to Guyana and met a local caddy guy and took me around, and it's just that place where you always kind of feel like you're looking over your shoulder for whatever reason. There's not a whole lot other to say about Georgetown. I went to the market. I went out of the market after a few minutes, and it's one of those places that you just kind of stay low key, try to just make the best of it, and that is Guyana. This has been a hard video for me to make, and actually I contemplated if I should make this video or not. It's been on my list for years, but I don't mean to badmouth countries, and if you're from one of these countries, I would love to go back. I would love to give it a second chance. I would love to try to meet new people and make new experiences, but once again, travel is subjective, which means there's many things that can make or break your experience. In these countries, I maybe wasn't with the right people or I didn't go to the right places. So that's why they made my list as my least favorite countries. But love to hear from you guys. If you've ever been to these countries, if you have certain advice or feedback, please let me know in the comments below. Or let me know what your least favorite countries are. I think this is a really interesting topic for conversation because we always talk about our favorite places and our best experiences, but nobody ever talks about the least favorite. So with that all being said, guys, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. And stay tuned for some more epic stories coming soon on my channel. A lot of Iran content coming soon. I just got back from Iran. I have a whole series coming, so stay tuned for that. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. I'm Drew Binsky, and thanks for watching.
Nice.
All right.
I want to know why he got kicked out of the temple.
Yeah,
or the
I know.
mosque in
I wonder
Brunei.
that too.
I really want to know.
It almost looked like when it showed the Brunei in the initial, it almost looked like Arabic writing.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I know those parts of the world have very similar. They just have a lot of similarities.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Because part of the Middle East is in Asia too. Anyway, I want to read through these comments.
I know. What was your worst experience when we were traveling? What's been your worst experience?
Bad one. I haven't had, knock on wood. I don't think we've gone anywhere that was like super.
No, the only place that I would say that I had a bad experience, I just mean like someone being rude or something like that. But
What? Were you gonna say Italy?
Well, yeah, we were in Florence at like a world famous sandwich shop.
Yeah, that's such a mild like
No,
situation.
no, no. Yeah, yeah. I'm saying I'm not saying we've had like really bad experiences traveling. I'm just saying that would probably be like, I guess the worst thing, which is not bad really at all. Just
We
some guy was in a
haven't-
bad mood.
We've traveled a decent amount, but not nearly as much to I don't want to say undesirable places, but places where that aren't as common for travelers to go to. We haven't traveled
Yeah.
to places like that.
That is true.
So, and there's a reason. Like none of these places have been on my list to ever go to.
Yeah.
At least not in the near future. So in my head, I'm not like super shocked. You know?
Yeah, that's true. It's a good point.
But sir, look in the mirror. That's all I have to say. I'm not shocked you're getting stared at, and people
In
are,
Africa, yeah, in certain
and that
places in
people
Africa.
are, are kind of like hyper aware of like what you're doing and stuff. I will say I have heard many times about places in South America where they're like, don't go outside when the sun's down.
Yeah.
Whether it's cartel or
Like mainly,
other-
I feel like Colombia is one of those for
I've
sure.
heard about certain parts, not everywhere, just
Yeah.
certain parts of Colombia. Just South America in general, some places. They're like, just if you're not aware of what you're doing right now in these hours, just stay inside.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So that's not shocking, but I still want to go to South America. Anyway,
Yeah, me too, 100%.
all right. Well, hopefully, you guys enjoyed that guy's video and stuff.
And hopefully you enjoyed our video.
Yes.
And you'll like and subscribe, and then you'll jump over to our vlog channel
And you
subscribe.
can go subscribe.
All right. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Peace.